Hello, and thank you for choosing Optimal HRV. Today, I'm going to show you how to set up a group with Optimal HRV so that you can begin tracking your entire organization. So step number one, on the optimalhrv.com site, which you will have a direct link to this page within this email, there are 3 simple steps that you need to follow. Step number one is going to be that the group owner, so the person who wants to organize the group, will click on this link here, and this is going to take them over, and there will be some brief information to fill out here. You can send in this request, and then we will set you up a group. Now, for anybody that you want to be in your group, what you have to tell them is that they have to go to their app store and download the Optimal HRV app. So you do that here. Then once they've done that using their normal email accounts, each individual user will have to request permission for your group to access their information. So they can send that to setup@optimalhrv.com and give them the name of your group. And then we will link the two so that you will now have access to each of these users' information. Now, why you would do that? So what we're looking at here is the dashboard that is associated with this. So for anybody who has a group, you will have a web dash dashboard, and this is what the main page of that will look like. And in this case, we are looking at the ever popular and very fake Bennett treatment facility. And within the Bennett treatment facility, what we are seeing here is the overall organization. So everybody included in this organization, all of the groups included in this organization are all reflected on this main page here. And we can see, regardless of size of the entire organization, how the whole thing is doing, right? So we can see how the entire organization is doing today, how they were doing yesterday, the past week, the past month, all time, and then a population average in comparison as well, which is a lot more applicable when we look at individual users here. But this can be good because we can say that if this month has been a down month, say you are somebody who is associated with sales, and we've seen a down month, and we see that indeed that the latest scores, the previous scores, the last week, the last month has been down with HRV as well. Well, those two things are probably associated with each other. And we can see where the opposite is true, where if we are performing way better than normal as an organization, that usually what we would see is that our HRV scores as an entire organization are way up. Okay, but now let's take a look into individual groups within an organization. So an organization has the ability to have multiple groups. So that's what we are seeing here. And anytime somebody wanted to add a group, it's as simple as clicking on add group, and we can make up our new group name, and then we would just add that in down here. So we would do fake group 2, okay, and then we can add that in. Now we have that new fake group. All right, and with those groups, we can add as many people as we would like to each group. You will always have your default group, which includes everybody within the organization. But if I wanted to look at my users here, now I can go through and we can see all of our users. And if I just want to take a look at all of them as a whole, right, we can do it that way. And if I wanted to add a new user, we could go here, we could fill in the information, and then we would add that user to our organization. Now, if you are new and you have a long list of users, you can import that, and we would be more than happy to help you import a list of users so that it is not such a large undertaking to bring in everybody on your organization. Okay, but once you have all your users set up, you have your groups. Now you can add people to each individual group. So the group that I just created, fake group 2, what we're going to do is pull that up, and we can see, oh, I have nobody in my group at the moment. So I'm going to go to participants, which of course there aren't any. And then I'm going to add a participant. Okay, and in this case, I know that I'm going to pull up Maria, and maybe I also wanted to add Malia. Okay, and then we are going to add those people in here. Now, the important thing to know about this is that you cannot add people directly in the group. You have to be back in the organization to add users, and the users must already be entered into the organization before you can add them to individual groups. Okay, so now we can see the activity within each individual group. We can see the participants, and then we can see the dashboard for the entire group, right? And we can see what's happening. So now we can see that fake group number 2 is actually performing pretty decent today, right? But we're going to go back to the organization. We're going to go back to our groups, and I'm going to click into the default group here, where we can see all of the people within our group. And I'm going to expand that out so that we can see everybody within the organization today. And what we have here is obviously the user's name, but we have the direction that this person is trending. So red arrow going down, obviously being a negative trend, green arrow going up being a positive trend. And then we can see their latest reading at the actual date. Okay. So what we want to look at when we are, and I'm sorry, what I'm doing with these clicks up here is that I can organize the data based on latest reading. I can organize the data based on their trend, based on the user themselves, based on their latest reading score, all of those things. So what I can see here is that Sally Johnson, who is way up at the top here, Sally, her latest reading was a 26. Her previous reading was a 35. So right away, what I'm thinking in my head is, oh, Sally had quite a dip and a pretty significant one. So what's going on with Sally? Then as we go to her last week, we can see, oh, well, that's pretty average for Sally, but then her last month has been down. So now I'm thinking, all right, this is far from average for Sally, and especially when we look at her all time. So what we can see is that Sally's last week has been depressed, as well as her latest reading. We can see that she had a moment of reprieve when she bounced back up here. So I'm going to want to click into Sally and see exactly what's going on, because why is Sally performing so much lower than her last month, than her all time? So I would click into Sally, and unfortunately, in this case, Sally only has 3 readings, right? The fake person, Sally Johnson, only gave us 3 readings. So what we can see here, though, is, again, that information highlighted that we just saw on that last page. But now when we go here, we have the last 5 readings with Sally. And again, Sally only has 3 readings here. But if this were the case that we were seeing that Sally was significantly lower, then this would give us the opportunity to reach out to Sally and say, what's going on? What's been happening this last week? What's happening today? Is there something that we can assist you with? Now, in the case of athletes, this might be an indication of overtraining. In a case of employees, this might be a case where the employees have far too much on their plate. And of course, this could be at work itself, or it could be the combination of work, home, all of those things. And if this is our patients, like what I deal with myself, when I see somebody's scores start to trend in a downward direction, I know it is an opportunity to reach out to that patient and say, Sally, how can I help you? I see that your scores are trending down. Is there something going on in life that we can help you with? And a lot of times this opens the door to the bigger conversations to really help a person from a higher level. And when you can do that, not only do you see patients getting better and staying better, but we see organizations getting better and staying better. We see athletes performing better at a higher level consistently. and uh, we see our organizations bringing in a larger bottom line, right? So these are some really cool things that you can use HRV for. And this is just a very general overview of our entire dashboard. But we are always happy to do extra training with anybody who is interested. So please reach out at any time and we will help you